What's up, guys? John here. Former President Donald Trump's trial has just been delayed until November 26th, 2 days after Thanksgiving.
Judge Juan Merchan has ruled on Trump's request to delay the sentencing.
Judge Juan Merchan is postponing the former president's sentencing until November 26th.
Now, when you look at what's unfolding right now in the world, inside of the economy, and you look at what these billionaires are warning and what they're doing, it's quite concerning. Could we see a scenario, possibly, like Ray Dalio has referred to over the last several years? He's issued statements since 2022 about a civil war, saying it's very likely. Even a movie that recently came out about it.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
And then he issued the statement again, just a few months ago, in May, saying that it's more than a 30% chance of a civil war.
Billionaire investor Ray Dalio believes that there's more than a 1 in 3 chance of a second American civil war breaking out.
The U.S. has a 30% chance of devolving into a civil war.
Could you imagine a scenario where, say, the election happens early November and Donald Trump wins the election, and then a few weeks later we walk in to a situation where he's found guilty of all charges or some charges? Could you imagine what would likely happen inside of America? It would probably be a pretty nasty scenario. Hopefully we don't see, that chain of events unfold. But when you look at what these billionaires are doing, they're preparing for a black swan. They're preparing for some major event that could happen. Ray Dalio issued a warning 3 years ago, saying that he sees America's decline will upend lives, not just portfolios. Ray Dalio says America's decline will upend lives, not just portfolios. The billionaire investor who built the world's largest hedge fund.
In 1992, when Ross Perot ran for president, the debt was about $4 trillion. It has now surpassed $35 trillion.
Interest rates have got to go up, or what they do is they have to print money.
So this isn't some fly-by-night guy. He built the largest hedge fund in the world. He's saying that America is going, it's going down, right? It's going in a bad direction. He's saying that there's more than a 30% chance of a civil war, right? What do you think is likely going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen in this video, because when you look at what central banks are doing, they're buying tons of gold.
Recently, a lot of the central banks in the world have been buying gold. They've been buying more gold now in the last 12 months than probably any time since the early 70s.
You look at what these billionaires are doing, they're buying farmland. Why? Because it's a hedge against inflation, and it's a hedge for safety. That's what it is. You look at what Warren Buffett's doing, he's unloading stock. I mean, he's selling tons of Apple stock.
Berkshire sold another 115 million shares of Apple in this last quarter.
He's selling, it seems like, stock every single day at Bank of America.
Warren Buffett's selling spree of Bank of America continues with an unloading of an additional 24.7 million shares.
All of these billionaires are doing something, and they're all doing it together. It's selling. They're trying to dump and unload their shares before, big storm. If you look at the yield curve, you start to look at what's actually happening structurally in the economy, you'll see very, very clearly we're walking into a very big problem. In this video, I'm going to break it down and show you. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. People share the content. Educate more people about what's unfolding in America. And today's video is sponsored by Gold Mining Inc., stock ticker GLDG. But more on that in just a little bit. Take a look at this. So central bank gold buying has reached record levels in 2024, driven by countries seeking to reduce reliance on the dollar. The Federal Reserve balance sheet is still 680% higher than pre-2008 crisis, despite a 20% reduction since 2022. Unreal. You have gold is outperforming tech stocks this year, and investors should keep buying, Bank of America says. This came out about a week ago, August 23rd. It says investors should buy gold even as the metal hovers around record highs, according to Bank of America investment strategist. In a note on Thursday, Harnett said investors should do what central banks are doing, buy gold. That's because interest rate cuts from the Federal Reserve in the coming months pose a risk to stoking a rebound in inflation next year, Harnett said, and real assets like gold have historically performed well during bouts of inflation. Harnett's comments come amid a record rally in the precious metals, with gold prices surging about 20% year to date, outpacing the gains of the S&P 500 by a few percentage points and outperforming technology stocks. So you have this unfolding right now inside of gold. Then you have the S&P 500 tumbles. This happened about an hour ago. Post the worst week since 2023. NASDAQ drops 2% for the worst weekly performance since 2022. The S&P 500 dropped Friday, notching its worst week since March 2023, as investors assessed the fallout from a weak August jobs report and ditched leading tech stocks. I mean, this is what's happening in the stock market right now. Breaking, the S&P 500 has now erased $2.2 trillion in market cap in the first week of September. Now, you look at the yield curve, we're basically at 1929 levels right now. 1929 levels. You look at this again, like the yield curve inversion is worse than 1929 and 2008. Buckle up. Now, when Warren Buffett, this is 3 days ago, he dumped $6.2 billion in Bank of America stock. Then, yesterday, $7 billion in Bank of America stock. Then, today, he continues to dump more and more and more Bank of America stock. Why? Why is he betting against Bank of America? Because if he's not buying, he's selling. If he's selling, obviously he's betting against it. So when you have somebody like Warren Buffett who says, never bet against America, never bet against America. In December, he bet against America by selling $27 billion worth of stock through Berkshire Hathaway. He sold tons of Apple stock just recently. So when you have him unloading shares, what are the odds that there's significant upside in front of us? Probably pretty slim, right? Especially given his track record. And then you consider that Jeff Bezos sold tons of stock. You have Elon Musk selling tons of stock, Leon Black, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of the world's largest bank. You have the Walmart family. They sold $11 billion in stock that month, just that month. Zuckerberg, he sold shares of his company every day in November, December last year. Every single day. Sold 128 million shares to collect $428 million. Now the big question is, why would they sell these shares? Because if they wanted 500 million, maybe they wanted to buy that $300 million yacht, and he needed 300 million, he could have easily taken out a line of credit against the stock. Easily. There'd be a ton of lenders that would love to lend him that money and use the stock as collateral. The reason he wouldn't do that is because if the stock market crashed, he can get margin called and be forced to sell off stock at a much lower valuation. So we prefer to sell, especially as stocks have went up 100, 200, 300% over the last 5-6 years, depending on the company, right? So when you have these major spikes in valuation, they're pulling risk off the table. But it's a lot more than just pulling risk off the table, because you look at the chain of events unfolding in the world, it's shocking. Remember just a month ago when it was Taiwan, South Korea, it was the US, it was Japan, all of these markets were crashing down and these exchanges essentially just halted. People weren't able to buy and sell all at the same time. Within a few days, it was basically forgotten. Remember that? Well, remember a little while ago as the Mpox, everyone was talking about that. That was going to be the big thing. And then it was for a day or 2 days, 3 days. Then it was pulled back, right? And then you start to look at all these different things. You don't know what the thing's going to be. You just don't, right? They say here, this came out, I don't know, an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 262,000 views. And they're saying that the United States resumed mandatory reporting of this. Almost 300,000 views now. Mandatory reporting. Is it going to be a scenario where, this could come back, right? I'm not really sure. No one really is. But when you look at what these billionaires are doing, they're getting ready for a storm. They're buying things that are going to hold value. They're investing to not really get a return on their money, to get a return of their money. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to invest into safe haven assets. With money market accounts reaching an unprecedented $6.4 trillion and the fear index soaring to its highest point since 2008 and March 2020 crisis. The financial world is on edge, but amid this uncertainty, a golden opportunity glimmers with promise. Introducing Gold Mining Inc., stock ticker GLDG, currently trading at just 90 cents, hovering near its 5-year lows, making it a standout choice in today's market, as central banks, including the Fed, signal rate cuts for the foreseeable future. And with the gold stock index, GDXJ, hitting near 52-week highs, the potential for Gold Mining Inc. is undeniable. Gold Mining Inc. doesn't just offer direct exposure to gold. It owns 80% of US Gold Mining Inc., valued at approximately $51 million, actively drilling in Alaska's rich terrains. They also hold a $29 million stake in Gold Royalty Corp., one of the fastest growing names in the resources sector. Moreover, lurking nearly unnoticed is their 75% ownership in a uranium project, alongside French uranium giant Orano in Canada's Athabasca Basin, an area famed for its rich uranium deposits. This project, founded by Amir Adnani of Uranium Energy Corp., fame adds a significant level of untapped value. Consider the compelling insights from Bank of America, predicting gold could soar to $3,000 per ounce by the end of 2025, driven by a shift in non-commercial demands and expected Fed rate cuts. Amidst these predictions, nearly 30% of central banks aim to bolster their gold reserves within the year, highlighting gold's enduring allure as a reserve asset. Despite gold's price of $2,519 per ounce, Gold Mining Inc.'s market valuation stands at a mere $170 million, a stark contrast to the $850 million peak market cap of its acquired companies back when gold prices were much lower, despite gold presently trading at $2,519 per ounce. Gold Mining Inc., stock ticker GLDG, is valued at just $170 million. This contrasts sharply with its peak market cap of CAD $850 million for the companies it acquired during the 2010 to 2012 bear market, a time when gold prices were significantly lower. The discrepancy highlights a potential undervalued opportunity in Gold Mining Inc.'s stock. And with the dollar index at a critical low, the timing for gold investments couldn't be more opportune. Historical data confirms that in previous bullish gold periods, Gold Mining Inc. has seen staggering returns, surging up to 525% during the 2015-2016 gold rush. Gold Mining Inc. stands as a beacon for savvy investors, seeking a fortune against financial storms and aiming for substantial growth. With a robust balance sheet and strategic asset holdings, and a visionary leadership team led by Amir Adnani, Gold Mining Inc. offers more than gold. It presents a legacy investment opportunity. I'm really excited about this company, but don't take my word for it. Do your own research and see what you think. For more information, visit the website or click the link in the description just below this video. Then you look at what CEOs are doing. Record numbers of CEOs left their companies in 2023. Report finds 1,170 CEOs left their roles. And so when you see them leaving their post in 2023, a 51% increase from the year prior, according to the business firm. They say C-suite executives reportedly took part in a historic job turnover in 2023. An end-of-year report from business and coaching firm Challenger Gray and Christmas Inc. found that 1,170 CEOs left their positions by the fourth quarter in 2023, marking a 51% increase from the previous year, the highest increase since their tracking began 22 years ago, since 2002. So you have these executives stepping down, you have billionaires issuing warnings, selling tons of stock, some even talking about a civil war, talking about America, heading in the wrong direction. You have all these, scenarios and events that are unfolding, which seem like weekly. It seems like one of these is going to be something big. And I think that scenario probably is going to unfold in the next 3 to 6 to 12 months. If I were a betting man, that's probably what I bet on. I mean, you even have Mark Zuckerberg talking about, building, he's building a bunker, talking about buying gold. Like the bunker that he's building in Hawaii is so huge. It's crazy. It is absolutely wild. You think he's just building it for fun? You have Peter Thiel building a bunker in New Zealand. You have a lot of people, a lot of wealthy people doing things that seem far-fetched and crazy, if we weren't living in the world we're living in. Even Sam Altman says, I try not to think about it much. He said this 8 years ago, saying, but I have this gold, potassium iodine, antibiotics, batteries, water, gas masks from the Defense Force, and a big patch of land in Big Sur that I can fly to its location as secret. So you just look at what they're doing. Ask yourself this big question. Do you think November 26th could walk us all into a problem, maybe see something really big in America? Or could it be something else? When you look at what central banks are doing, you look at what these billionaires are doing, it's signaling something big is going to happen inside of the world. Something major is about to unfold. I'm really curious as to what your thoughts are. Where do you see, this all going? And today's video is sponsored by Gold Mining Inc., stock ticker GLDG. For more information, you can click the link in the description just below this video. Catch you next video.